Welcome to BioWise with Achal. Let us discuss the answer of today's questions to find out that how we have actually performed. Let us start with the section 1. Now the first question was the number of live birth per thousand per year is called. Now you know that this we are talking about is the natality, right? The correct answer is natality. So I have written the answer here, natality. Now next one is the structure that lies at the junction of choroid and the iris. I have given you the diagram also. You can see this is the choroid layer and this is the ciliary body. These suspensory ligaments are not the part of the choroid. So the answer here is the ciliary body. Next one is the seminal vesicles pour the alkaline secretions. It is not the seminal vesicles which pour. It is the prostate gland that pours the alkaline secretions. So the first statement, that is assertion, is wrong. Right? The assertion is wrong. And the female vagina is acidic. This is the right statement. So you can have the answer as A is false and R is true. Moving to the next question, the hormone that induces the vigorous contraction, that is, you have oxytocin, is the right answer. Okay, you know that oxytocin is released by posterior pituitary, which helps in the uterine contraction during childbirth. The scientists wanted to conduct an experiment. Now you know there was a scientist, his name was August Winsman. He conducted an experiment in which he was cutting the tails of the mice for 22 generations and wanted to find out that what is the impact of this procedure what he was doing on the offsprings. And it was found that all the offsprings were born with the same length of the tail. And this disproved the theory of Lamarck, that was use and disuse theory. Okay, so here all the offsprings have the tails. Next question, a turgid plant is in a balanced state. This is an example of a turgid plant. I have given you the diagram. You can see the turgor pressure is the pressure which is exerted by the cellular content on the wall, and the wall pressure is the pressure exerted by the wall on the cellular content. So they are in the opposite direction, and in a balanced state turgor pressure is always equal to the wall pressure. Okay, so the answer here will be A, that is A is true and R is false. Why R is false? Because they have given the same direction. Now moving to the next question, the optimum temperature for photosynthesis. You'll know it is 25 to 35 degrees centigrade. Now in this case we have already seen the graph where you know that when the photosynthesis, that is rate of photosynthesis, increases and then goes on decreasing after the optimum temperature is reached. This optimum temperature is around 25 to 35 degrees. Ajay and Vijay are the siblings and Ajay can roll his tongue. Matlab rolling of tongue is a dominant trait. It's a dominant trait. And cannot roll the tongue, that means it is a recessive trait. So Vijay has received two recessive alleles, one from both the parents, right? So what is the genotype of the parents? Both the parents, you can see here, are heterozygous. Then only Vijay can take the recessive alleles from both the parents. Is that clear? The first case, homozygous, not possible. Both the parents are homozygous recessive, then also not possible because Ajay is having a dominant trait. One parent is homozygous dominant, then how can he give the recessive allele to the other, to the child? So the option D is correct. Deficiency of ADH. Now you know that antidiuretic hormone, when it increases, it decreases the urine output. That is, urine output is decreased. Reason is increase in ADH helps in reabsorption of water. Now if increase helps in reabsorption, so decrease will cause more release of urination. The first sentence is true. Antidiuretic hormone acts on the kidney to reabsorb water. This is also true. So the correct answer is A and R both are true. Where is that? Here. Okay. So I have marked it wrong. 1 minute. Yes. So the correct answer in this case is Both A and R are true sentences. Moving to the next one, a phase of cell division in which spindle fiber disappears. This question is so direct. Obviously, in telophase, the spindle fiber disappears and the nuclear membrane reappears and the formation of two cells, that is the furrow formation, begins. So, telophase is the right answer. Here also arachnoid layer. Now arachnoid may confuse you with the layer of the meninges, that is the dura mater, arachnoid, pia mater, but here they are talking about the impulse, nerve impulse along the axons. So here what is the right answer? The myelin sheath. The myelin sheath helps in the speeding up of the transmission. So this statement is wrong. Axon ends at the synapse, at ending at the synapse, that is the axon terminal. Remember axon terminal helps in the, from here only na, the acetylcholine is released in the synaptic cleft. So the second statement is true. So the answer is A is false and R is true. Many nuclear power. Now here children, the question is confusing because they are using nuclear power. So you may get confused with radiation pollution. Then they are talking about water resource. You may get confused for water pollution. But now the question is, they use water for cooling. That means by cooling the machinery, you are creating hot water and that hot water is released in the water stream. So the correct answer for this is thermal pollution. I hope you all are getting right. Next one, you can see a wise owl sitting here. Now owl is a nocturnal animal, that is they can see the things at night. So you know that rods and cones are the two photoreceptors, where rods are for what? Dim light vision and cones are for bright light vision. So rods have got rhodopsin, that is so easy. So the answer is rods and rhodopsin. Now in this case the pair is given. Thigmotropism is touch is right. Geotropism and water is wrong. It is hydrotropism for water and gravity for geotropism. Chemotropism for chemicals is right. Phototropism for gravity is wrong. Phototropism के लिए you need light and for gravity you need geotropism. So here P and R are the correct answers. Next, this question. Again here chances are there that by seeing this neck you get confused it for goiter. But look at these eyes, man. They are so scary, right? This is exophthalmic goiter. That is over secretion of thyroxine. Is that clear? Next one, they are the direct questions you must be knowing. When the fully developed part of the ovary containing a mature ovum, that is Graafian follicle. Then you have a waxy layer on the upper epidermis. Now this question is repeated twice. In arrange the logical sequence also they have given cuticle and upper dermis. So cuticle you can say. Next one, the ear ossicle which opens up the oval window of the cochlea, that is stapes. The physiological process which is at the starting of all the food chain, photosynthesis. An insect which is a classic example of natural selection due to industrial melanism. You can write peppered moth, you can write Biston Betulilia. Now since I have typed it, I have written in italics, but when you are writing in the exam, you must write with the words scientific names in this way. Is that clear? I hope you have written. Just write in the comment box how many of you have written the scientific name correctly, or you have just used the common name. Both the answers are right. Next one is a very easy paragraph on the heart. The heart is enclosed by a membrane called the pericardial membrane. The ventricles give rise to the two large blood vessels called the pulmonary artery and the aorta. The flap of the cuspid valves are kept in position by chordae tendineae, and the coronary artery supplies blood to the, now arteries are already written, so I should not have written the artery here, but coronary arteries supply oxygenated blood to the walls of the heart. Now see, this was I was talking about. Arrange in logical sequence. So you have cuticle, upper epidermis, palisade, spongy cells. Then you have stomach, hepatic portal vein, liver and hepatic vein. This is the portal system, right? Stomach, hepatic portal vein, liver and hepatic vein. Dendrite, cyton, axon ending and synaptic cleft. Then you have high blood sugar, insulin release, stimulates glucose uptake from blood, lowers blood glucose level. seminiferous tubule, then you have efferent duct, the small ducts which come out of the seminiferous tubules, if you remember the diagram, followed by epididymis, a cup-shaped structure, and that is highly coiled structure that is formed, that is in front of, that is closer to the testis. Now from there, the sperm is sent through sperm duct to the seminiferous vesicle, right? The next question, that is the tubules which for this example is given to you. So you have to write the structures here, right? Now the canal through which the testis descends down in the scrotum just before the birth of the male baby, the inguinal canal. This is mentioned in your textbook also, and we have also discussed it when we are doing our reproductive system chapter. The part of the brain that regulates the peristaltic movement of the alimentary canal, that is involuntary action. So the answer should be medulla oblongata, right? Next one, the structure that collects sound waves and conducts them to the external auditory canal, to your ear and the external auditory canal, and here you have the eardrum. So what is this structure called? This is your ear pinna and auricles. Then the point of attachment, that is centromere, and the regulation of opening and closing, that is the guard cells. I think this was easy, right? Moving to the next, here the glands are given to you and their function is asked. Now A is pituitary, it secretes, you can see here it's pituitary gland, it secretes a tropic hormone that regulates the function of other hormones. B is thyroid gland that regulates the basal metabolism. C is the adrenal gland which helps in the stress condition, that is prepares the body to face stress. D is pancreas which helps in maintaining the blood sugar level, and E is ovaries that helps in maintaining releasing estrogen. F, that is testis, is given in the example. Okay, is that clear? Easy. Moving to section B, now there were choices. I'll be discussing all the 6 questions. Let me know how many you have done in the comment section, whether you have attempted the entire paper or you have left some questions. Let me know in the comment section. Now here the photosynthesis reaction. The photosynthesis reaction, now it has come only for 1 mark. So in the entire reaction has to be correct if you want your 1 mark. I have written the reaction, you can check. Next one is Ramesh is a farmer who has a vineyard and cultivate grapes. Now he is increasing the size of the grapes by spraying certain phytohormone. Now increasing the size, the phytohormone is gibberellin, and since it is the technical term for producing seedless grapes is parthenocarpy. The process is parthenocarpy and the fruit produces parthenocarpic fruits. But here they have asked for the process. It's parthenocarpy. Mention the two pairs of the nitrogenous waste. Sorry, mention the two pairs of the nitrogenous bases. Nitrogenous bases. Here nitrogenous bases are adenine and thymine, one pair, and guanine and cytosine, second pair, and you have to show the bonds present between them. The double bond is present between A and T, and triple bonds is present between G and C. Disadvantage of living close to airport. Now if you are close to airport, you will have noise pollution. You can write even the ailments that may be the result of noise pollution: headache, uneasiness, nervous system disorders. Air pollution because of too much of traffic, too much of vehicles, plane. Air pollution can also be there. Any related problem, 2 points, 2 marks. Next diagram is metaphase. This was the easiest diagram that you could get for 3 marks. Therefore 4 chromosomes. Now you have to draw the 4 chromosome. The correct diagram with the centriole, you get 1 mark, and for 2 mark you have to have any 2 labels. Is that clear? So out of 10, how much you have got? Just let me know. Question 4. What is the structure of DNA proposed by Watson and Crick? That is double-stranded helical structure of DNA. Name the white blood cells that show phagocytosis. It is neutrophils, and antibodies, lymphocytes. Now you can see here this mice can be eaten by C and D. So you have to make the food chain in such a way that both the organisms which you place in C and D can eat mice. So snake can eat mice, and snake can be eaten by eagle, and eagle can also eat mice. So the answer C is snake and D is eagle. Then what are the harmful effects of acid rain? 2 is needed. So damage to crops and forest 1, and corrosion of buildings and monuments 2. Taj Mahal is suffering, you know that. That is because of the acid rain. Now next question is so simple. This diagram is given in your textbook also, children, if you remember. So A is what? A is osmosis, ascent of sap, B, and C is transpiration. You write these 3 words, you get your full marks. Next one, what is micturition? Explain. So you have to write at least one sentence. Expulsion of urine through urethra by relaxation of the sphincter muscles located at the opening of the urinary bladder. You can even add that brain sends the impulse. This will give you 1 mark, that is micturition. What are biomedical waste? Biomedical waste refers to the waste generated from healthcare facilities, hospitals, laboratories, medical research that may pose a risk to human, animals, environment. This is the complete definition. But if you write similar to it, you may get marks. Example, used syringes, needles, discarded medicines. These are all the examples of biomedical waste. Differentiate between urethra and uterus. Now children, do not get confused. They have not asked ureter. They have asked uterus. Uterus is what? Where the baby grows. So here you can write expulsion of urine from urinary bladder to the outside body. That is your uh, that is a function of urethra, and the function of uterus is implantation of the embryo and its development. So you have your uterus, the function is served, right? Next one. Now this lady is balancing herself on the beam. So she is in a continuous motion where she is trying to balance herself on the beam. This is an example of a dynamic balance. And for dynamic balance, semicircular canal is used. The ampulla of the semicircular canal or semicircular canal. Semicircular canal is the keyword. Now draw a neat label diagram to show that oxygen is released during photosynthesis. This was the simplest. Oxygen has to be shown. 1 mark for the diagram and 2 marks for the label, where oxygen bubbles are important, and any label is you can write. Moving to the next question 6, what are hydrothores? Where are hydrothores located? So you have to give the functions of location. So they are located on the tips, edges, and the margins of the leaves. What are vestigial organs? Vestigial organs are those non-functional organs that have ceased to be of any use to the possessor, means those who have it, but still persist generation after generation in reduced form. This is the complete definition. And vestigial structure found in human mouth is the wisdom teeth. Then Ahmed had a severe infection. After few days, he developed an earache. What would be the reason for the pain in his ears? Now you know that Eustachian tube, so this will give you 1 mark. Eustachian tube connects the middle ear to the throat. Hence, the infection might have moved from the throat to the ear, causing the pain in the ear. This will give you complete 2 marks. Now, in this case, cataract eye, you can see that the lens becomes opaque because of the deposition of certain proteins in the old age. So that is what they. Why does the vision become blurred? Because the lens becomes opaque or cloudy. Now given here, this is the simplest question one could get. It is a plasmolized cell, and they have given you the 3 things that you have to label in the diagram. So when you draw, you have to redraw the diagram. So you'll get, for redrawing you get 1 mark. In fact, for drawing you may not get marks, but correctly placing these labels you get marks. 3 marks for 3 labels. So hypertonic solution is there between the cell membrane and the cell wall, because cell wall is freely permeable. Cytoplasm is there. Cytoplasm is here in between the, this is not there, this is vacuole. Okay, this is vacuole. So in the vacuole you have got cell sap. Okay, so cytoplasm is between this place. This is cytoplasm. Okay, and plasma membrane is the this membrane which has shrinked. This is plasma membrane. So if you have labeled it correctly, you get 3 marks. Moving to the next question, define alleles. Alternative forms of the gene, that is called allele. You have written alternative form of the genes, you'll get the marks. Then in the last century human population, okay, they have talked about the increase in the human population all over the world, because they have talked about global cooperation. So mention any one reason. So any reason for the rapid rise of population improved healthcare, medical facilities, better hygiene, better agricultural yield. Any you can write. So 1 mark. Mention the name any one resource under pressure. So land, water, fossil fuels, food. Any one if you write, you get 1 mark. Yes. Now here next one is two functions of amniotic fluid. I have given you four. Out of that, any two if you write, you get marks. Amniotic fluid is to protect the embryo from the physical damage by jerk or mechanical shock. Even pressure all around the embryo for the proper development. Allows restricted movement of the fetus, right? And it prevents the sticking of the fetus to the amnion. So any two if you write, you get the marks. CFC, CNG, chlorofluorocarbon, compressed natural gas. The spellings were simple this time for the abbreviation. Lucky you people. Moving to the next question. Vineet's day begins with a cup of pipping hot coffee, right? Coffee का काम क्या है? It makes you alert. So it is the organ which is stimulated is the brain. Give the collective term for the protective membrane. Collective term they have asked. So it is meninges. And which autonomous nervous system? Since it is creating an atmosphere where you are activated. So that is sympathetic nervous system. Okay. Now explain the term excretion. The process of removal of metabolic waste, chemical waste. You can write here metabolic waste also. Metabolic waste from the body, that is called excretion. Difference between the neurons and the nephrons. Neuron is a basic structural and functional unit of the nervous system, and nephron is the structural and functional unit of the kidney. And the function, neuron helps in the transmission or conduction of impulses. Neurons helps in the conduction of impulses, and nephron helps in the filtration of blood and removal of waste. Then objective of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan: open defecation free India, proper waste management, community toilets availability and making community toilets for the villages and all, and clean streets and roads. So any two if you write, you get the marks. Then give any two characteristic features of the Cro-Magnon. Cro-Magnon was just the pre-ancestor of the Homo sapiens. So they had more brain capacity, 1600 cc, and they had the height of say 5 to 5.6 feet. Large skull, broad face, rounded forehead, prominent chin, lagged eyebrow ridges. Any two if you write, you get your 2 marks. Last question, that is the 8th question, 5th one. What is this? Was the after a long time that a dihybrid cross was given, but luckily you did not have to do the crosses and all, right? So what is the answer for the first one? Phenotype of the F1, that is F1s are always heterozygous, showing the dominant trait. So you can see here they are tall with the red fruits. Then what is the ratio? Ratio is 9:3:1. What are those? The explanation is given here, right? And state the Mendel's law of independent assortment. Out of the two pairs of characters, the distribution of the alleles of one character into the gamete is independent of the distribution of alleles of the other character. So with this, we are done with the complete solving of the paper. Please write down in the comment section how much marks you expect, and we will match it when you get it. Okay children, all the best, happy learning, and enjoy yourself because the exams are over.